Do you deserve the Nobel Prize, do you think?
Does Donald Trump deserve a Nobel Prize?
Everyone thinks so, but I would never say it. You know what I want to do? I want to get it finished. The prize I want is victory for the world.
Trump's talk of raining fire and fury down on North Korea, as well as other wildly bellicose messages often delivered in a tweet, is being given some credit for Kim Jong-un's mood of late. Kim's been showing his softer side in advance of talks about denuclearization. The latest gesture is the release of these 3 Americans imprisoned in North Korea. He's also suspended nuclear tests, shut down a test site, and most dramatically thrust himself into relatively warm meetings with South Korea's President Moon in hopes of ending the frozen conflict between their 2 countries.
I appreciate Kim Jong-un doing this and allowing them to go.
Trump has suggested it's all a sign of big things to come from his meeting with Kim in a few weeks when they talk about North Korea giving up its nuclear weapons. But some of those more experienced with North Korea are also more skeptical that things will turn out well.
It's going to be very difficult for North Korea to be willing to give up and actually give up. They may agree to it, give up its nuclear weapons anytime soon over the short term. They put so much, literally, blood, sweat, and tears and treasure into developing this. It's going to be very hard for them, given all the mistrust.
The trust issue is likely front and center now that Trump has announced he's pulling out of the deal the U.S. negotiated with Iran over its nuclear weapons program. He might have showed he keeps his word on campaign promises, but he's also showed that no one can count on continuity in U.S. foreign policy.
How can the North Koreans actually trust Donald Trump to make a deal, figuring that he himself at some point, as he's shown in many other occasions, both domestically and internationally, that he's willing to pull out an agreement whenever it suits him?
All of this is happening quickly, Andrew, and things have changed a great deal and in ways that were not foreseen just a couple of months ago. Trump says he'll announce this week when and where the meeting will take place, and there are reports tonight that it will happen in Singapore.
Right. And Keith, you mentioned that one reason the meeting is happening at all might be that Trump's threats have brought Kim to the negotiating table. What other reasons might there be?
Well, probably the most important reason is that North Korea's nuclear program is now far more advanced than it has ever been. North Korea appears to be a genuine nuclear power, and there can be little doubt that in Kim's view, it's the nuclear weapons that brought Trump to the table, not Trump's threats that brought Kim to the table.
But, I mean, on the other hand, doesn't this newfound strength, in a way, sort of make it less likely Kim will want to give up his nuclear weapons?
Yeah, that's what many analysts say, and it brings us right back to the question of whether Kim can trust the U.S. in this type of negotiation when the U.S. has just taken a deal agreed to between Iran and all of the world's most powerful nations and apparently blown the whole thing up.
Keith Bogue in Washington, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Now, Keith mentioned that the island nation of Singapore is the likely location for Trump and Kim to meet. And if you're wondering why Singapore, well, we had the same question. But there may be good reasons to meet there. Observers say Singapore stands out because it's a neutral location. It's well known for its security and high degree of public order. And the city-state also has a strong track record of hosting high-level talks. For example, the historic 2015 meeting between Taiwan and China, following a 66-year standoff. Plus, it's helpful that both the U.S. and North Korea have diplomatic missions in Singapore.